Yeah. You motherfuckers wanna talk text?
You grant them sight, so why can they not see beyond the boundaries of their own mortality? I hold an individual world for each of them in my hand. It will give them hope. It will give them purpose. Life. Without it, these frail creatures will...
Strength was found from within. Yeah, you know this part. When a kid with a frozen heart comes stole when he's smaller tough, so you're bawling and calling the cops cause there ain't no one to stop him. So run inside of your houses, fucking duck and hide behind couches. Don't even fucking try to come stop us. We're a gang of savage monsters. Every fucking time they don't mock us, and every fucking night that it haunts us, we're coming together.
Hello, and welcome back to the third episode of the Flask Full of Failure podcast. We've actually kept it going for 3 times. Let's hope we can keep it going further. Today, we have our 2 guests, as always. That's your cue, by the way. I know I'm not always clear about that.
I am Scott. My load has been blown.
Oh, great. He did it.
And I'm Taylor, and we're still here despite my best efforts.
Yeah, he tried to sabotage this last week, but
Ho, ho, ho.
we're gonna make this work, whether I have to...
And Logan's just like, we'll do it again next week. And I was like, oh, damn. I didn't think of that.
I didn't think you'd stick to your promises.
No.
Also, we are now on SoundCloud and iTunes, so if you want to check us out, we're there too. So I think every Monday is when we'll be uploaded on those 2. So yeah, listen to us.
iTunes also, does that also mean Apple Music?
Technically, I think so. Yeah. I just know that it's like if you look for us in the Apple Store, or the podcast, whatever, you can find us there, Flask Full of Failure. And
so
what?
Yeah, so if you play your cards right, you can listen to us talk about nothing on 4 different platforms.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Put us on all of your Series and Apple Homes and Google things, and yeah, just put us everywhere. Listen to us all the time.
Play all of them all at once, slightly out of sync, so that it has a cool echo effect.
And make sure that like family that doesn't give a shit is around, so that you can annoy them too. This has been the best plug I think we've ever had. Honestly, I think this is topped it. It has hit the top. We've done it.
No,
Please,
Logan.
please,
the
please
best
listen to us.
plug. The best plug is the British plug, as a matter of fact.
All right, moving on from this.
Scott's talking about electrical outlets again.
We will be talking about this on a future podcast. Mark my words.
Sure, we'll figure it out. I hope you all listening can wait. Can't wait to hear that time. But
the British audience will know what I'm talking about.
The British audience, who even have an audience at this point. We'll get there. We'll get there one day.
Well, anyone listening back to this in 2065,
yeah,
who is
sure.
British.
What are they gonna? Is this gonna be like an archive kind of thing? Like,
yes.
Man, I wonder what the people of 2010 era were like. It's like, oh yes, listen to them. I mean, I know it's 2018, but like, I'm just thinking, decades.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
But anyways, today, aside from all the bullshit that we just spewed, we're gonna be talking about soundtracks in video games, which is also going to be convenient because this is going to be the first podcast that's actually going to have a little musical intro, because Ray finally got around to doing that for me. So,
Oh, we did?
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Oh.
You'll get to hear it eventually. I'll put it. I'm going to put it into the actual audio recording of this instead of just the live version, because that's too much effort, honestly. So yeah, it'll be on the thing whenever it's out. So, which will hopefully be Monday. Anyways, today we each came up with a list of our top 5 video game soundtracks, and each one of us is going to go through our thing, starting obviously at number 5. All three of us are going to say what our number 5 top soundtrack was, talk about it a little bit, and then go forward from there. And eventually there'll be some honorable mentions. I kind of thought we could do an overrated, underrated thing, but I think I might be the only one who even came up with anything, and I struggled with that one too. So I think to start it all off, I'm gonna let Scott start with his number 5. So go ahead.
Good decision. All right. Well, in general, my list, it was really hard to rank these in an order.
I feel that 100%.
So like, and that might go for the rest of us too. Basically, the difference between like fifth place and first place is very small. So,
And obviously these are our opinions, not, we're not holding
Yeah,
this to like a in the grand scheme of things. This
No.
this number 1 on my list is the only number 1 ever to exist ever kind of thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. I rigorously tested all of my soundtracks, and I believe I have found the objectively best soundtracks.
Okay,
I
so
actually ran mine by Ray's music theory professor.
okay,
Anyway,
well, so
do
what we've
that.
learned today is that mine are just what I feel, and everybody else's are fact. So
Are
take that as
objectively
you will.
correct, despite
Objectively
ours
correct.
probably being different.
Yeah, so objectively correct. Keep that in mind. All right, Scott,
Yes.
continue.
So the objectively correct number 5 choice is the soundtrack for "The World Ends with You."
Man, I
Um,
wish I'd listened to this.
yeah, so "The World Ends with You" is a Square Enix game that no one remembers.
But
that is, but
don't
that
forget
is
to
a
say it's
really
coming
cool game.
back.
It is. It is coming, even though it's been released on like at least 2 platforms previous to now. One of which being mobile devices.
No.
I mean, cell phones specifically.
Oh
You'd
no.
think that would have gotten it a more audience, but it didn't. It is coming out on the Switch, a remastered version with new content. Oh, so that's cool. That game is one of those that I'm like, I don't know if it's underrated per se, but I would say it's underexposed. Anyway, the soundtrack for it is super dope. It is unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. It is a DS game. So like the quality of the music in it isn't spectacular. And the only reason you notice that compared to other DS games is because pretty much I'd say like 60 to 70% of it are like fully voiced songs. Um, so I think vocals, you can tell when it's compressed a lot more than you can tell with just other songs. But it's a really cool soundtrack. Uh, and the cool thing about it is that all of the music, that basically, a lot of times in games with battle systems and stuff, you'll have like one like normal battle music and then like a boss battle music. But in this game, they basically just have like 7 battle songs, and it just randomizes which one plays anytime you do a battle, except for the bosses, which it'll use the same for a couple of them at least. It uses the same songs that can appear in normal battles, but it's always the same one for that boss, and so it kind of links that song to that boss, and it makes you think about that boss more when you face enemies in the future. But it's a really cool song, and there's one song in particular that I love because it's a really good ringtone candidate. Uh, because it's the chorus. First of all, it just kind of sounds ringtony, and the chorus of it goes. It's like calling. Someone is calling. You answer the calling, or something like that, and so it just works perfectly.
It becomes very self-aware, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, fun soundtrack.
Um, what style of music is it? Did you say that already, or was I just like?
I think I think you could classify it as pop.
Pop.
Um,
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was
it's
like a pop
it's
rock or like just kind of like a pop sound.
maybe so. Like the whole theme of the game is very uh like gangsta. I don't know how to explain it, but like like fashionable city punks is like kind of the theme of it.
What the
And so,
Japanese would think of like American.
well, I mean, what the Japanese think of themselves in their fashionable punk cities.
Fair enough.
Uh,
Okay.
but it takes place in Shibuya. Like it's not a fictional
Oh,
setting.
okay.
So, but yeah, it's super like I don't know, like it's really like Skater Bro themed, I guess.
So,
In fact, one of the people is like a complete Skater Bro.
which makes me
Um,
like wonder why I never played it because that was a fashion thing that I had for a while. So,
yeah, yeah, and the game is very fashion based. Like the types of it's all pins, but the types that you equip do different stuff, and like certain brands will be popular in certain areas, and if they're more popular, you get boosts in battle and stuff like that. Um,
nice.
but it's also hard as balls. I imagine they're going to make it easier in the Switch version, but the OG DS version is really hard because you have to uh, play on both screens simultaneously. And so, like, the D pad controls the top screen and the touch screen controls the bottom one, and it's really hard.
Well then.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
once
And
it
good
comes back
soundtrack.
out on Switch, it'll be one of the games that I'll probably end up buying. So,
I'm so excited. And I hope that they redo or they like remaster the soundtrack and make it sound
oh
awesome
man,
on
that'd
Switch.
be cool. Then I can put it on there. Actually, I'm probably after this, if there's something that like somebody said to listen to, I'll probably just listen to it. Um,
Yeah.
I will definitely put my stars like obviously this is not my top five, but like if there's a soundtrack where I think like some of my soundtracks I think are good, but part of it's nostalgia value. If there's a soundtrack that I think you should just listen to, I will say it. So, um, well, I guess that means next we'll go over to Taylor and Taylor,
Oh
what is your
boy,
number five?
am I ever prepared? Uh, so I, with a lot of mine, I had, oh, at least with this one, I had a hard time nailing it down to just a single game in which the songs I liked came from. So for number five, I'm just gonna say the Castlevania series as a whole. The
Okay,
soundtracks
I'm
are,
glad you said that because my number one also does the same thing. So we're
where it's just a game series and not just a
yeah,
single
it's
game.
because it was really hard to specify. You'll understand when I get to it, but like it was
Okay.
really hard for me to be like I choose this one game in the series. But
Right.
continue. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Castlevania. I feel like I don't need to say a whole lot about what
That
Castlevania is. You kill vampires, and you with a whip. It doesn't make much sense. The fucking vampire killer is my jam. Just
uh,
da 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 da. Yeah,
I'm sure there's a copyright flag somewhere, but it's fine. We'll be okay. We can deal with
yeah.
that later.
For Taylor humming the first
I
5 notes of the song.
you'd be surprised how copyright rules work sometimes.
Yeah,
Well, not the rules. I'm talking about the algorithm that goes
Oh
around.
no, I'm not talking about the algorithm. I'm talking about specifically like the possibility of future. Although if they want to listen to this whole thing, that'd be awesome. Um,
I mean, the
nice.
future, who knows?
so yeah, no, I think the Castlevania series is awesome. Like the music especially. It's one of those like I think if you talk to anybody who had a NES at any point or an SNES, if that was like their generation of gaming, that's probably one of the game series that they're like, oh yeah, Castlevania, hell yeah, kind of thing. Um,
Mhm.
do you know they're making like a spiritual successor, which I'm actually like I don't feel worried
Isn't
about.
that Bloodstained or
Bloodstained.
whatever?
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
about it because it's gonna take after Order of Ecclesia more than anything. I think mix of Order
Mhm.
of Ecclesia and Dawn of Sorrows or Aria of Sorrows.
But yeah, I quite like Castlevania. There's one game, Castlevania Judgment, which has a soundtrack composed mostly of metal covers of older Castlevania games, and its
Uh,
soundtrack is kind of amazing. Don't play the rest of the game; it's kind of garbage.
which one was Judgment?
It's it was the fighting game,
I mean, it's
the
I.
one the one that has the art by the guy who did Death Note, and
So
while he's artistically quite skilled, he also can mostly only draw Bishi pretty boys, and making Simon Belmont look like that is kind of weird.
also he made Carmela look like a very boobsy lingerie wearing vampire, and she kind
Yeah,
of did not look like that in the game. So
yeah. The game's not very good. The soundtrack is pretty baller though, so I would recommend looking at that if you just want to hear bloody tears and on an electric guitar.
yeah, no, that's that is a fair thing. So I guess that means it's up to me now. And
Oh yeah.
number five for me went to Bastion. Um, while
Ah,
I still haven't beaten the game, the music was one of the best parts about that game, because no matter what situation you're in, no matter what's happening, the music always seems to follow what you're doing in that game. Like, you really get a feeling of what's going on in it, especially considering the fact that you have this really smooth voice and narrator kind of explaining what's going on the whole time. And it's
Yeah, that's
just,
kind of Bastion's whole deal, is that the sound design is designed around like sticking to whatever you're doing,
like,
since
I
he
will say,
comments on literally everything.
basically the way that I put this together is I was sitting in my school's library and kind of listening to different soundtracks while I was doing some other work, and I was like kind of taking, like, I was doing work but also taking notes on the soundtrack, and like I got actual chills from this when I was listening back to it. So this one was
Yeah,
definitely one of those ones that like I could feel the music as it went on.
yeah, I feel like which ones are they? I think it's Mother I'm Here and Build That Wall that kind of play
Oh,
off each
Oh,
other.
I forgot about Build
I
That Wall.
I've sang "Build That Wall" in my car like so many times, as well as doing like the Game Grumps thing where you just take a song and just start talking about your dick or something.
Oh,
I've done that with "Build That Wall" in like
I
five
will
different
fight
songs.
you. I will kill you. Do not do that to build that wall.
No,
Do
it's
not
just like
talk about your penis. You
It's
filth.
such, it's such a good song though. Yeah, that's like, I forget, I didn't get through a whole lot. Like, I would listen, kind of skip around, I guess, in the thing, so I didn't get through all of the songs, obviously, because I feel like if I had listened to every song on my potential list, I've got a lot on my potential list. So if I had listened to that, like if I had put that in there, I would have been listening to music for probably like 3 days at least. And I'm talking like 3 full days of no sleeping, 3 days kind of thing. So yeah, I felt like Bastion was definitely that, and it's an indie game too, so it's not like they didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have the big. I mean, they probably had a decent amount of money, but they didn't have the big,
Yeah.
like, they didn't have the AAA title kind of thing. Like, they didn't have Ubisoft pumping money into them kind of thing. Like, they made this based out of like a small company kind of thing. But it's a really good soundtrack, and honestly, that's one of, I feel like there's one, two things on my list that I'm not going to suggest as a go listen to this kind of thing. Bastion is one of the go listen to Bastion's soundtrack and just get kind of enveloped in the thing. But then also just go play Bastion because it's the same. You get that experience through it. Um, but I think from that one, move on to number 4, and we'll start with Taylor this time.
Oh gosh.
Oh, it's
Well,
awesome.
I also have an indie game as my number 4. Well, not also. That was your number 5. But whatever.
I get it.
Moving on to another indie game. I put Hotline Miami as my number 4,
God, that game is just
which,
fucking madness.
yeah, I kind of debated a lot on like random indie games I was going to put here, because I have quite a few that the music is good. But Hotline Miami, really, I appreciate its sort of EDM soundtrack for the most part, because it really puts you in the right mood for the game, which is having a cocaine fueled murder party in 1980s Miami,
I
and
was about to
the
say, so it's
just the thudding bass uh soundtrack really gets you into that.
it's like EDM based out of like the 80s kind of thing, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
like
the
something
point.
you'd hear it's something you'd hear in a club in like 1989 Miami, just the dum 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 noises, and it's like, yeah, I
I
love
th-
it. I love beating Russians to death to it.
I think my
Great.
biggest problem with that was that I could never focus on the music because I was always so tensed up. Because I'm like, all right, I gotta get in there, I gotta smack that dude with a bat, then I'll shoot that guy, then I'll grab this other guy, then I'll beat that dog's face in, and then I'll do this. And you're just like, I'm focused so much on that I can never pull the
Mhm.
music. Although that probably says a lot for the music because I think it subconsciously always would make me like nervous.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is it's not really music you'd like just listen to and appreciate for its like artistic merits or whatever. It's a mood setter. Like, even though you're not really paying attention to it, you feel it.
Yeah.
You're in the right mindset for it. And I think that mindset is one I appreciate, because between the Hotline Miami games and another game I played called Deadbolt, I think I might have been some sort of mafia hitman in a past life, because they come very naturally to me.
Well, I guess I'll move on to my number 4 at this point, which going down the same line of just like just intense fucking music, the Doom soundtrack. And I'm specifically talking about Doom 2016, like the new remade one, because while the original Doom's music was phenomenal, and I can't ever get over the like original Doom theme song, like we've had that moment where we played Trouble in Terrorist Town. Yeah, we've had that moment where we played Trouble in Terrorist Town, and the terrorist can turn on the Doom music, and if I'm the terrorist, everybody could just be like, "Oh yeah, it's Logan." I'll be like, "Yeah, you're right," because I can't not turn on the Doom soundtrack because
I mean,
it's so good.
it's such an effective, like, because in Trouble in Terrorist Town, it's all about, it's basically werewolf, where you're trying to figure out who amongst you is the bad guy trying to kill everyone else, and it's like a much more effective traitor test than any other traitor test in the game, because you just have to, anyone who is looking in the direction of that trigger when the music goes off, you're like, that's the traitor, because it's so hard to fight the urge to turn it on.
As I wrote in my notes, one of my notes says, "It's fucking metal as fuck, dude," because it is. It's they took the original Doom soundtrack, which was done and was like probably like 16-bit, 18-bit, or it's like 16-bit, 8-bit, or 16-bit, something like that. Probably
It's
the original.
It probably wasn't 8-bit, but
Yeah, 8-bit, but it was like it's just this.
well, I said probably wasn't, but whatever.
Well, 16-bit, I guess, or so, it was somewhere around that time.
There's a lot of bits.
Whatever. Sorry. The point is, like, nothing will get you more in the mood to just shoot the shit out of a ton of demons, rip through their flesh, take shotguns to their face, and break their jaws, like the soundtrack from this thing. Like, I was listening to it and I was like, yeah, this is some like pretty intense fucking music, and it fits perfectly with what you're doing, because if anybody's actually played the new Doom game, the fucking Doom guy doesn't give a fuck. Like, there's even a point where I think the game is basically it's basically the Space Marine flicking off the character in the game that's like telling you not to break something. You just break it anyways because you're like, fuck you, I do what I want. Because
also one of the part where I realized it was going to be a great game was like when you like get through the little tutorial area and you get in the elevator and the music picks up and it's doing the Doom theme, and then right at the end when the elevator door opens, the Doom guy like racks his shotgun to the beat of the music.
Oh
it's
yeah,
just perfect.
That game knows its fans. Like, it just knows what it's doing. And that's the same thing with the with the music. I even talked to Mitchell about it, and Mitchell can be kind of picky about his stuff, but like this was one of those things that Mitchell like listened to it, and he was like, no, that is a soundtrack that like you just know what you're getting into, kind of thing. And it's like I feel it when I listen to it. I was listening to it in the library, and I was like, man, I hope nobody looks at my computer screen because they might think I'm a little bit crazy. Since we still haven't gotten over the blaming video games for problems in life kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know if I suggest everybody listening to that soundtrack, but like, if let's just say you're going to play some Call of Duty Zombies and you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't want to think about anything, you just want to go on a murdering spree, turn on that soundtrack. It's worth it. It's so worth it. And now Scott, I guess we'll go to your fourth pick.
Oh, so this this was chaining together until Doom, but on the again with indie games that didn't have a whole lot of money, initially at least. For my fourth one, I said the Vanilla Binding of Isaac soundtrack.
Binding of Isaac
it's a good one. I said vanilla, like the Rebirth soundtrack is good too, but I really like the vanilla one more, and mostly just because I don't know what it is, but it is really good at pulling you into the atmosphere, or it makes the atmosphere a lot heavier. Like Rebirth is a lot more fun in a lot of ways because they improved the gameplay and did a bunch of cool stuff, but it completely, after a while, you get removed from Isaac's position, like the danger of descending the floor so his mother doesn't kill him and stuff. Whereas the soundtrack of the first game, like the first floor song, is just really cool, and then after a while, the songs just start getting less more like songs and more just like ambiance, especially in the depths. Um, but yeah, and then all the boss songs, especially the mom song, is really awesome, and they just really yank you into the atmosphere of the game of Isaac running from his drugged up mother.
That everything that they've made is a really good thing.
Yeah,
They've done a good job with that. But yeah, no, the Binding of Isaac's a really good game too, just in general. Like
it is.
that's a game I suggest to people. Like kind of adult, because like if you start to explain that, you sound fucking insane.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
and well, the more insane part is the longer you play it, the more normalized it becomes, and then like you just don't think anything about like picking up an item that's like a spleen with a cross on it or something like that. You know,
It's like you explain that game to somebody else, and they're like, oh yeah, like I thought about playing the Binding of Isaac, but like, could you explain what kind of a game that is to me? Like, oh yeah, the Binding of Isaac, that's that game where you get locked in your mother's basement and shoot tears at the enemies of things as a way to fight your way through the basement, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, no, it's a weird fucking game.
you also fight Satan and
Yeah,
Mega Satan.
but Mom's still like, I feel worse.
Yeah, Mom is yeah, I love that soundtrack.
It's a good soundtrack. So we all three get through 4 at that point.
Yep.
Did you do your own number 4?
I did. It was
You
Doom.
did.
Doom was 4.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess in order to continue to make this more confusing, I'll do 3. And I'll start
Oh
out.
God.
I
We could have
chose.
just done it in a circle and
Yeah,
it would
no.
have been fine.
No, we're not.
But
We're
no.
not. We have to be fancy. So I chose Donkey Kong Country 2, and I specifically chose Donkey Kong Country 2 because it has nostalgia value to me. And I could have chose the first Donkey Kong Country soundtrack, which is still really good, and like Aquatic Ambiance, which is like one of the. Usually people are like, I hate aquatic stages or whatever in games, but like I'd play the shit out of that just to listen to the music, honestly, because it's so good. But I think in Donkey Kong Country 2, Sticker Brush Symphony beats out Aquatic Ambiance because it's just such a chill. I basically chose this one entirely off of one song. So also the fact that I played this a lot when I was a kid, and this was one of the games that me and my dad would play together. And I still remember getting into one of the worlds. I can't remember which world it is, but you get the dun 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 boom, and it sticks in my head. It's been in my head since I was a kid, and every time I hear it, I'm just like excited about it. Also, I think the fact that there's also like constantly a seal barking in my head because of that game, which makes me sound like a crazy person, but you know, not like I haven't done that before. But yeah, that's a nostalgia value one for me, for sure. I guess I could have put the whole Donkey Kong Country series, but I'd have never played 3. I don't really care much about 3. Kiddy Kong can go fuck himself. And yeah.
No, he's just a child, Logan.
He can jump off a cliff for all I care. Have you heard like what happened, like have you heard the sound that it makes when he dies? Like when Dixie dies, she'll like fall on the ground and go and then Kitty just lets out this wail, this adult sounding wail of pain, and you're just like, shut up, Kitty. So he just gets on the ground,
Now I know.
yeah, he just gets on the ground, just goes, ah, and you're like, stop. Whatever you're doing, quit.
You know, this is kind of unrelated. Well, it's related to that, but just
Go
as an
for it.
interjection, because I always forget about this, and it's one of the coolest things. Well, maybe not one of the coolest things, but I thought it was really cool. And it's soundtrack related. And when you said death, it reminded me in Pokemon Black and White. So up until Generation 6, Pokemon games were infamous for when you got really low on health, there would be that doo 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 noise, you know.
Oh, then the sounds that want to make me kill myself. Yeah, no, I understand what you mean.
Right, and they don't stop until you heal above that threshold. So basically, for the first through fourth generation, that's how it was. In the fifth generation, they decided to they decided to take advantage, or they knew that people were getting annoyed by that, and so they decided to take advantage of it. In the 5th generation, when that happens, it's the exact same noise, but the music changes to a special music track that like uses that noise as the beat, and so it's like dun dun doo 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 doo. It's like really hard to do with a human, but if you go and listen to it, it's just like just Google like Pokemon Black low HP music. It like uses that beat to make music, and it's so cool. And it's neat because it was like, oh, it's so annoying, and then they were like, well, let's make it cool, and everyone was like, never mind, I love it when I get low on HP now. Anyway.
100% not knocking you. It's just like I get that. Yeah, no, that sound is always worse. I like when games implement the like whole like death sounds. Although if we're just again going on this kind of like tangent, the Sonic series and their dying, like their drowning music, nothing in this world makes me panic more than suddenly hearing that do 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 do. I can't even replicate it. It's horrifying. If you haven't listened to it, just go like look up Sonic drowning music, and you will probably panic a little bit internally just because of that. So then I guess from there we'll go to Scott. What is your number 3?
Oh, hello again. So my number 3 is actually from an extremely recent game. I picked Celeste, which is on Steam and the Switch, and probably a couple other consoles. Which is another indie game. And I picked this one, number 1 because it's awesome, but number 2 because it does.
Yeah,
the game is also awesome. I highly recommend anyone that likes platformers should definitely play it.
and specifically like more difficult platformers. Like don't just put it in platformers because it's not like you're like standard early levels of Mario. Like they throw you in there and they're like, you better understand what the fuck you're doing. Like get used to the mechanics of this game instantly, or you are not going to make it.
Yeah, it is pretty difficult to finish. There is like an assist mode that makes it easier to finish, but definitely doing it like raw is not an easy challenge. But the soundtrack, I picked this one for the same reason that Logan picked Bastion. It doesn't do it to the extent that Bastion did, but it does some really cool game, like it integrates the music pretty well with what's going on currently in the game.
So like
there's one part later in particular that it's like really hard to explain without spoiling everything, but they do some stuff with the music that kind of more or less tells you how far along in a certain process you are. And the way they do the music makes it really obvious, and it's really cool. It's basically like if you were going to represent a boss's health with music instead of a health bar, and have it be subtle and not just like, oh, when he's 1/3 low on HP, the music ups in tempo, like, or the tempo doubles or something. It's like not like that. It's much more subtle.
Would it be a spoiler saying what the game's like kind of has the underlying message in the game is, or is that still?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I mean, the game sounds like it's a lot about anxiety and like kind of a girl trying to get past her anxiety, right?
More or less. It's about more than anxiety. It's
mental health.
It's like, well, it's basically just about accepting the negative parts of you, or the parts of you that you think are weighing you down.
And the music knows how to like control that shit.
Yeah, because like the first chapter, like the music is like, it's all like cool and fun, and it's like, whoa, we're climbing a mountain. And then later, my favorite like area music is there's like kind of a spooky hotel at some point, and
the spooky hotel. That's where I am.
Bunch of
right
ghosties.
Oh yeah,
I love the music. I love the music in the spooky hotel. It's a lot of fun. I hate the spooky hotel otherwise, but the music is really cool.
I think the spooky hotel's gimmick is what upset me more than anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a very bland gimmick. So it's one of those games that it introduces like two basic mechanics in the beginning, and then every other mechanic in the game builds off of those, and they don't recycle the mechanics throughout levels very much, so
You
every
kind of
level feels fresh.
every level has its own specific mechanic, mechanic, kind of like Braid did, where it's like
Yeah.
it never like it has a you go to world one and like you have your like your normal abilities of like let's just say jump and run, but then the next one uses jump and run, and if you run on a certain color surface you go faster kind of thing. But then the next world it might be if you run on a certain color surface everything around you spins or something like that. So like you have to
Yeah,
use each mechanic based off of where you are in the level, but it doesn't often use it multiple times. So
it's super great. And there's, like I said, there's a really cool sequence that happens later, and the music just makes it.
that is a game
Uh,
worth playing too. It's like $20 on
it's-
whatever platform you
yeah,
want to play it on. I
and
suggest
the
those.
developer is a super cool dude. I watched a video of him. It's basically a guy. I forget where he was from, what like news outlet, but it was basically an hour of some guy with the developer of the game watching him play the game. And they just had like a little nice chat while he played it. And the developer, he seems so chill. Like a lot of times, uh, you think people might be like super like, oh yeah, well, our team really came together for this, and but this guy's just like, yeah, it's a game, and he's like, man, this mechanic you made was really cool. He's like, oh, thanks, man. It was really fun. I like that one.
Just being a
So
very humble boy.
yeah, and he laughed. He's like, yeah, we internally we refer to that as the strawbies or something like that, talking about the strawberries. So it's just fun. It's like, because you see a game like that and you look at it and you're like, you can tell there's a lot of time and money invested into it, and so when you know the developer is just a normal dude, it makes it seem cooler, and like you can achieve your dreams.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I guess moving to the next one, Taylor, what is your number 3?
Okay, well, Bastion was originally my number 3.
Wah, wah.
So I guess I'll pull something off of my honorable mentions and just turn my top 3 into something that is also my favorite video games ever, in addition to favorite soundtracks. I'm just going to say Bloodborne, honestly.
Oh my god.
Just the soundtrack in Bloodborne and also just in the Soulsborne series in general are some of the most beautiful orchestral pieces I've heard in quite a while,
Now,
and they're all very good at creating this horrible sense of dread and
oh,
panic.
well, we've had the conversation before, me and you specifically about like the fucking cleric beast. Is it the one that I
Mhm.
couldn't beat for like it took me, I swear to God, months to beat the cleric beast. And I think what I will always remember is walking into that and having this like kind of like not really a whole lot of music, then all of a sudden hearing this sound, and it's just a sound of dread, and then all of a sudden the thing pops up and like shriek howls at you, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I in for right now, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And that is a horrifying experience.
Yeah, I found that the music in all of those games, Bloodborne especially, just because it's more horror themed, is very good at setting the mood and also just kind of really punctuating the points in a fight where you get surprised or shocked by some sort of change. Because I guess some spoilers for Bloodborne, the DLC specifically.
Should have
There's one
little
boss.
spoiler mark
Yeah,
on here.
well, there's one boss called Ludwig, the the Holy Blade, and
Von
he's
Koopa.
yeah, Ludwig von Koopa is in Bloodborne. You heard it here first. But he's like a horrible monster man for the first part of the fight, and the music is really dour and gross sounding. And then like halfway through it, he kind of remembers who he is and starts fighting you with a sword. And the music picks up into this beautiful orchestral piece with like a chorus just going just like screaming in the background. And it's just like, in addition to everything else, you realize you fucked up at that point. It's pretty great.
I still
And
think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, and it's just moments like that why I really love it, is just the way it punctuates the proper moments. And also just sort of a little anecdote recently, because I was looking up some music for this earlier in the week, and I looked up uh it was a song from Dark Souls 3 for Vort of the Boreal Valley, and I particularly love that song because because it does the same thing where it changes partway through, where it's like kind of a slow orchestral piece, but then there's the part
Is that
about
what is
if
it that
you
Garrett calls it? Garrett has a specific name for it. Is it like the oh
it's
shit moment or something like that?
it's when the pain train starts, and when you get Vort down to a certain percentage of health, and goes from being kind of a slow lumbering night beast man to just kind of ice skating around the place, slapping you with his ass. It's pretty great. But yeah, and just the part it's about, if you actually look up the song, it's like 148 in exactly. I haven't memorized uh because I love it. And I remember it because when I was listening to it, I was like walking around my bedroom, and I as I was walking around, I looked up at the wall, and I saw, right as the part started, there was this big ass spider on the wall, and just the dun 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 part started, and it was great, and like the little health bar went across the bottom of my vision.
And then you panicked a lot harder than you probably should have.
Yeah, and
Or
true to
just
nature, the spider escaped.
and then you found a new shower later.
I found it eventually, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's moments like that.
that entire series just has like those moments of like it, I guess the way is like, obviously Dark Souls has the very like has the idea, a lot of people have the idea of like, oh yeah, this game is kind of like it's known for being super difficult, blah 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 kind of thing. But it's like it's moments like those where you really get into you're like, okay, this boss fight, or sometimes you won't even realize it's a boss fight. That's the thing. Like you're like, okay, this is an interesting room, and you'll go in and touch something, and all of a sudden you'll just hear a, "Ah," and you're like, oh no, and you turn around and just like some giant vagina dragon is crawling out of the abyss, and you're like, no 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 no, I didn't ask for this today.
Yeah. Also, I would recommend looking up the Swedish Radio Symphony Orchestra's version of the some of the Bloodborne music. They have like a suite of music that they do, and it's funny watching it just because the lead vocalist throughout the whole thing just has this scared look on her face, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, or if it's just a result of the music.
100%, just entirely intense.
But yeah,
They make you play Bloodborne before you get to sing it, or
it's like, oh no,
thing. So
what is happening? But yeah, that's my number 3. It's Bloodborne. It's also one of my favorite games ever. Go play it right now.
it's worth it. It's so much fun. I tried to get one of my coworkers into it, and he was like, I don't know, man. I was like, get into it. He's like, I'm gonna play Call of Duty. I'm like, motherfucker, play Bloodborne instead. Challenge your mind instead of just sitting there shooting 13-year-olds.
No, so, but they need to be purged. Anyways.
So I guess that means we're on to number 2 now?
Yep.
Who knows at this point? I'm lost.
You did do your own. I'm confused because I keep thinking Logan hasn't done his.
Wait. Yeah, did you do your number 3?
I did my number 3. That was Donkey Kong Country.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Don't mind us, we're idiots.
Number 2.
So number 2, Scott, we're back to you starting and confusing everybody.
Good. Okay, so I also did the cop-out thing where I did a series instead of just a thing. Mostly just because I couldn't. Well, I could pick one that it wasn't gonna be, but then the rest I was stuck between. So, the Persona series.
Genuinely thought you were about to say Danganronpa, and I was like, hang on.
I was not about to say Danganronpa. Danganronpa, the one of the songs, like I also picked like 5 songs. One of the songs from Danganronpa was in the 5 songs, but the only reason I didn't say Danganronpa is actually I don't know why I didn't say. Anyway,
don't worry, we'll put that in honorable mentions. I'll talk about that because I want to talk about it too. So we're good.
Yeah. So Persona. Basically, Persona 4 is like if I had to pick between 3 through 5, I would have a really hard time deciding between 3 and 5. 4, I would definitely be able to say, it's not my favorite out of those 3, but the other 2 I'm stuck on. I also haven't played a ton of 3 and 4, but I listened to a lot of the songs from them. But the Persona series, even 1 and 2, which almost no one has played, I played a very little amount of Persona 1. which is
Before
just called
we
Persona.
get too far into your thing, can we just talk about how insane of a fucking series Persona is, just in general?
Oh yeah, it's
Like,
it's very strange. Anyone, first of all, if anyone has played Persona 2, that must mean that you are extremely invested in the series, because no one has played Persona 2 because it doesn't exist in this reality. Um,
is it
but
Persona?
yeah,
Is it all the Persona games where you like shoot yourself with a gun, or is that just like Persona
no,
4
that's only 3.
or 3? Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I
yeah,
listened to
so
a separate podcast, somebody talking about the Persona series, and they were like, he was like, his favorite game was Persona 3, and he was like, so let me tell you about a game where you basically just go to school, and then at some point you shoot yourself in like through the mouth, and out of the back of your head explodes your persona. And I was like, what?
yeah, that's Persona 3. So after 2, 3 through 5, they completely revamped the game system, and 3 was the first game in that system, uh, where basically all 3 of them involve going to school, maxing your social links or whatever they choose to call it, and then doing kind of like a dungeon crawly thing where you fight shadows. And in Persona 3, um, basically it's the only game where the combat takes place in the real world and not in like the shadow world. And the idea is, in order to manifest your persona in the real world, it requires you to be like extremely emotionally distressed. And the only way to reach that level of emotional distress is to simulate dying. And that's why they shoot themselves in the head. Not for real, but they have the gun like simulates the feeling of being shot in the head without actually shooting you in the head.
The Persona
And
series is crazy. It's
that's
basically
it,
what he
my
said.
man. But the music is an actual banger in all 3 of those games. They all take a different style. Persona 3 is more like, I mean, I'm not a music expert, so it's really hard for me to figure it out, but the main battle music is like rap kind of. And then everything else, I guess it's EDM is maybe the genre. Uh, but Persona 4 is like 100% J-pop, and then Persona 5 is like jazz, or not jazz,
Yes,
but
it's
yeah,
jazzy. Because
jazzy.
the funny thing was, I legitimately, while I was looking up stuff for this, I finally picked up Persona 5 again, and then I was drunk, so I should not have picked it up because I fell asleep playing it, and I
Great.
don't know how much of it was saved, so we're gonna see how that turns out when I turn it back on again. But
Fantastic.
I was watching the opening, and I'm like, if somebody doesn't talk about this on the podcast, I'm gonna be upset. Because
Yeah,
like,
no,
holy shit,
Persona.
that intro is all I needed to be like, if somebody doesn't talk about this on the podcast, I'm gonna be upset.
Basically, in all 3 of those Persona games, the like normal battle theme is always like the most work is put into it. Um, they're all just amazing, especially Persona 5, because it's so like, it's a soundtrack is good it can when it can successfully completely encompass like the theme and the atmosphere of what's going on. And Persona 5 is all about shadow thieves, and just that normal battle music is just so like confident sounding and so like fun sounding, and that's kind of how it is like they're all like having a good old time being shadow thieves and stuff, and being pretty successful at it. um but yeah, it's the all the music is amazing. It's all also like a lot of it is has lyrics, even like just the background music, which is always really cool. um and it's all like super Englishy. They try their best, but like, I mean, and the singers aren't even that bad most of the time. It's just whoever wrote the lyrics, like, they don't have the fullest grasp on the English language, and sometimes there'll be a sentence where you're like, I understand it, but that sounds really strange. Um, but yeah, they're all good. There's one song in Persona 5. It's called Rivers in the Desert, and that's one of my favorites because it's like a really important boss battle theme, but it doesn't sound like a boss battle theme for the longest time. It's just like really low key, and then at some point it just there's like a drum beat, and then it just takes off.
Just
It's
goes
so
balls to
cool.
the wall.
Yeah, it's all three of those games have great soundtracks. If like I said, Persona 4, I'm not a huge fan of like super pop, especially J-pop sounding stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't like it as much, but it's still really good.
Again, off just the
Um,
like general like trying to like not advertise, but like trying to explain Persona to somebody who like doesn't really know anything about it kind of thing.
yeah, it's
Persona
very
is one of those
strange.
games. Be like, so, how would you explain Persona? Well, you get to go to class, make friends with people, have a real life experience, and then kind of fight people on the side. But like, your grades matter, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What? Why would you want to play that? Like, who wants to play
Your
that?
grades matter. They do matter.
I know
You
they
have
do.
to
They're like part of your
you got
stats. It's
you gotta
weird.
freaking study.
You gotta
It's how you
study.
pass like skill. It's how you pass. I mean, they don't transfer to your battle stats, but they're basically like skill checks. And there's certain things you can and can't do depending on your life stats, and they're also hilarious sometimes. Like I know in Persona 5, one of the stats is proficiency, and the lowest rank one that you start with, it just says bumbling,
It's me.
and then what's the other one? I think one is charm, and the lowest rank is milk toast.
uh, man.
But
That game
yeah.
series is something else. And I like obviously
Also,
you've got to understand that like Persona 5 did something apparently to people because like I remember I watched a lot of top 5s or top 10s of the of 2017 and like almost everybody had Persona 5 somewhere on their top 10. And it's like you know that even if people who like aren't normally into this kind of game are into it, they did something right. So
yeah,
go play. What I'm saying is go play Persona 5.
yeah, definitely because and they're not really connected, so you can play them in any order. But they took everything that was wrong with any of the previous ones, they fixed it and they brought back anything that worked well. So that's one of the reasons why it got so popular, probably. And it's just stylized AF, which
Oh
looks
yeah,
really
it
cool.
looks beautiful.
But
I
as a
wish I
closing
could
music
be.
note, there's a song in Persona 3 that if I am ever in charge of a nightclub, this song will just be played on repeat. Um,
And then
I,
everybody
I
leaves the
think it's
nightclub, but you know, whatever.
I think it's called like Wanting to Be Close or something like that. But it's the song that just plays when you're just in school and nothing's happening, and it just sounds like a nightclub song.
Also, I let me restate that everybody who's not drunk as shit or high as shit leaves.
No, I really think you could play this in a nightclub and no one would notice that it's
The drunk and high
Persona.
ones wouldn't.
I wish I could be half as stylish as any of the characters in the Persona games. Like,
Oh
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Like, how do these clothes exist in real life? I don't think they do.
The main character in
No.
Persona 5 just like walks in and he's like, this is a school uniform. Like, your school has so much style. What the fuck?
What? Plaid
Yeah.
pants? What is this?
Yeah, he like walks in with like plaid pants, his like cool ass blazer. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, they're like, this is just the school uniform. I'm like, dude, I want to go to your school. I want to look beautiful when I go to school every day. So, so is that everybody's number 2?
That was
No.
only mine.
That's right.
Scott rambled on forever about
Yeah,
Persona or whatever the hell.
Well,
Yeah, I've lost brainwaves. So I guess Taylor, we'll go to your number 3 then. Or 2. Jesus, number 2 then.
Okay, so my number 2 is going to be controversial because it's Angry Birds.
I'm
Not
so.
not actually. No,
I
I
was-
just
I
I
was
just have
gonna-
Angry Birds on the brain for some reason.
I was gonna say I'm so
Um,
upset. Taylor, we're gonna have words.
it's-
You're not allowed on this
no, I know.
podcast anymore.
My number 2 is Silent Hill 2 because it, like I said, my top 3 are just some of my favorite games ever.
Fun thing, this is in my honorable mentions.
neat.
Actually, no. Actually, I put Silent Hill as my underrated because I feel like while people love that soundtrack, I'm sorry. Let me let you talk, and then I'll explain my reasoning.
Okay, well, Akira Yamaoka, pardon me, is a genius, and Silent Hill 2 has both songs that I listen to just when I need to like relax and have a little cry, and also the actual music that plays during the game itself, it is some of the best like atmosphere setting just noise sounds that I've heard ever.
Now, I will say
And
that I've never personally played Silent Hill 2, but I'm watching one of my favorite Let's Players to go through it right now. And there was a part where they're in like a prison or some shit, and there's just like it's part of the music, but there's this sound of just like a pew, 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 and you feel it get closer to you. And I was just sitting there laying in my bed watching it. I heard that, and I'm like, I can't do this right now. I 100% like this needs to turn off.
yeah, because a lot of the music during gameplay like incorporates both actual music with just like industrial noise, and it really sets the atmosphere of just the Silent Hill Otherworld. In addition, the theme of Laura and Promise are both just genuinely good, like relaxing rock songs, and Promise fills me with emotions of sadness, and yeah, I love it.
That series makes me want to cry every time I see it. I'm just like, no, they're like not even out of like. Okay, so to quickly explain that one of my favorite Let's Players, his name is Halloween4545. If I were ever to get him as a guest on this podcast, I'd probably freak out, but I doubt it'd happen.
Mm.
He does not like jump or get startled at a lot of things. He's actually playing. He loves the Silent Hill series, but this is his first time ever playing Silent Hill 2. He has like I have never seen him so afraid of a game before. Like he's terrified in a lot of cases. Like I remember there's one point where you go like this like prison. He walked into the thing. I don't know if it was part of the music or if it was just a jump scare. But he's going through looking through the bathrooms because one of his jokes is like, toilets will always have goodies kind of thing. Which is true for a lot of horror games. Is like if you go to the toilets, you're gonna have like some sort of good shit while also probably having some sort of scary ass jump scare.
Well, I mean, there's a whole part of Silent Hill 2 that has become a running gag about James Sunderland sticking his hand in places where it should not go, in which he just fishes a key out of a disgusting brown toilet.
It's fine. But yeah, he goes into this.
Don't touch that with your hands, James. Jesus.
Which is also a running joke in the game West of Loathing, where you can reach into spittoons, and every time you do it, the game will just go on like a 20-page rant about how disgusting the inside of the spittoon is.
But he goes in there, and it's like you get this tense ass music. You're like, oh god, I'm already terrified. I'm already uncomfortable. I'm already whatever. Then all of a sudden, you just hear a female screech, and I swear to God, like I usually watch stuff on my PlayStation. I almost threw my fucking headphones out of my ear. I was like, no, I'm done. I can't fucking do this. This is too much for me. Oh god, yeah, that soundtrack is just perfect at putting me on edge. Something it's probably not stuff I should watch before I go to bed, but I do a lot of times. I'm gonna have issues at some of these nights.
Yeah.
I'll wake up and be like, oh god damn it, Pyramid Head's coming to like rape me or something.
He does that sometimes.
I mean, it's physical embodiment of whatever.
Yeah.
Hatred. I mean, I know what he's like
not
physical
quite,
embodiments of, but yeah, no. Yeah,
Silent Hill 2 spoilers.
Yeah. Go play that game. It's a fun game. Also horrifying.
Or don't. If you don't want...
You don't want to be depressed.
It's not a fun game.
It's a fun game, but it's not a fun game, I guess is how I would put it.
Yeah.
If you enjoy being scared, like, go for it. If you don't, just, like... Because Silent Hill is much more psychological. It's not so much like a, like... I mean, the bobble nurses make me uncomfortable, but, like... It's not a thing of being like... Oh yeah, like this is actively scary. It's kind of like you go in there and you start like learning things. You're like, okay, so that's fucked up.
Yeah, this is gross and bad, and I'm sad. It's like, it's not a fun experience, but it's an interesting artistic experience. Like no one watches Schindler's List for fun. No one plays Silent Hill 2 for fun.
If you watch Schindler's List for fun, you need to go seek help, please.
I feel like that was a false equivalency on my part, but
still,
yeah.
I mean,
don't play Silent Hill 2 if you're not looking to be emotionally savaged.
Fair enough. Or, physically savaged by Pyramid Head. Whatever. It's fine. So I guess that means my number 2 choice, and I chose something that is also a game made by Edmund, and that would be
Redmond.
Super Meat Boy. Because god damn it, do I love this fucking soundtrack. And I cannot tell you how fucking disappointed I am in the fact that the Xbox 360 version is the only version that has one of the best boss themes I've ever heard. And
So weird.
yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. I guess it's because that was what it was originally released for. So once it moved to other things, they stopped using the same thing. So I don't know if any of you have played Super Meat Boy, but have any of you? Either of you?
I've been subjected to it at your house a couple times.
That's fair. Have you seen Little Slugger? It's the first boss in the forest level when Dr. Fetus is taking control of this giant chainsaw monstrosity.
I have not.
The music for it is probably the original music for it is probably one of the best songs I've ever heard, because you just jump into the world, you see Dr. Fetus in a machine that basically has a chainsaw dick with giant legs that starts chasing you through a side-scrolling level. And you just have to run away from it. And it starts out with a guitar going, and you go to any other version of it, the PS4 version, the PC version, any other version of it, and it has this weird shitty ass EDM music over it. And I'm like, you took away probably one of the tensest moments I've had in this game, because if anybody listening hasn't played Super Meat Boy, because it's at its 7-year anniversary, believe it or not, or maybe it's 10-year. Where the fuck are we at this point? I actually have to look this up now, because I feel bad not doing it. So I'm gonna look it up real fast. But yeah, it's it came out to 8-year anniversary basically. So but yeah, so it's this horrifying, this tense moment in this really hard ass platformer, a platformer where you get to watch all of your deaths every time you die, which is just rubbing salt in the wound, which is funny because there's a salt level that destroys Meat Boy because salt and meat don't mix very well. But I love the soundtrack for it, because the original soundtrack is really good, and you can you feel the levels. Then when you get to the non Xbox 360 versions, it's not the same soundtrack. It's the original one I'm talking about, and it's so weird that it's not that way. But yeah, it's a great soundtrack. If you ever just want to listen to something, go listen to the original one. And then there was also the the really weird. It sounds like they found some people who were they're not a professional band, but at the same time they're like an indie band, a weird indie band, and they got it, and it was a Meat Boy song, and all I just remember it was the Save Me Meat Boy song. If any of you have heard it either, I don't know, probably not.
No, I don't think so.
But the lyrics of it are "Save me, Meat Boy, you're the one that I need. Dr. Fetus, he can't beat us." And it's this weird little I don't even know how to explain it. I'll have to find it for you guys. I'll play it for you after the podcast. I may jam it in here, maybe, possibly. So we'll see. But yeah, the original Super Meat Boy soundtrack is just amazing. I think I also have good memories of that, because when Mitchell and I were first becoming friends, we basically just sat in my room for 4, 5, 6 hours just playing through that game. So it was a lot of fun. So I guess now that all of us have gone through number 2, we've made it to the glorious number 1. So Taylor, do you want to start us out on number 1?
Okay, so this is probably going to surprise everyone, considering I don't think I've ever discussed this game before, ever in my life, to anyone.
I feel a setup coming up right now.
So it might be pretty surprising when I say that my favorite soundtrack comes from Shadow of the Colossus. It's Shadow of the Colossus. Go play it, please. It's great. It's amazing.
The remake just came out too for the PlayStation 4.
Indeed.
I'm pretty sure. So
it's relevant.
Yeah,
so
it is actually relevant.
if you don't have a PlayStation 2 sitting around.
I should just play
Yeah.
the remastered version because it's probably just like the same experience, just remastered. Go for it.
Yeah, that is basically what I've seen. I unfortunately have not picked up the remastered version yet, but from what I've seen, it is basically just the original game, only prettier, which is a feat into and of itself. Which really, like, just on a tangent, like remastering a game like this where the art style is just realism, you can't really ruin it like some people thought it would, because the original game was a PlayStation 2 game with a realistic art style, and so it just looked kind of silly sometimes. Which, not to say the original game is not also beautiful, but like, have you seen those graphics though?
I haven't actually seen anything for the new one. I think I might buy it because while I have seen Shadow of the Colossus played through and I've played it a little bit, I've seen it before, but like
Uh,
but since I've seen Shadow of the Colossus and I've played through it, I think I will. This will probably be something that'll be purchased fairly soon for me on the PlayStation 4. So, I need to stop buying games. I really
Yeah.
do. I bought the Secret of Mana remake recently, so fuck money, I guess.
yeah,
Um,
I would if I could.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shadow of the Colossus. Its soundtrack is just as beautiful and epic as anything else in the game. I'm literally listening to Counterattack right now, and I can't hear anything else, and that's okay. Just I'm standing on a Colossus's back, and nothing can stop me. But yeah, it's exactly what you think of when you're gonna stab a beautiful, beautiful creature straight to death to bring your dead girlfriend back to life.
because fuck you.
Yeah.
Because the game's not happy. Neither is
No.
Ico, or I don't know. Is the last one The Last Guardian? Is that the other game that's made by Team Ico or
Yes.
whatever the hell they're called? Yeah,
It's also kind of depressing.
they're all fucking beautiful games, but they're depressing as hell. So
Yeah.
prepare yourself
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
fun.
I guess while Taylor
Sorry.
just ruins the rest of this podcast by choosing to listen to this instead of actually talking to us. I guess I'll go
What?
on
I
to
can't hear you.
God damn it. So I guess I'll go on to my number one. My number one is one that while I was listening to all this different music, while I was sitting there thinking about all this different stuff, I wrote all my honorable mentions. I put this one on here and I'm like, there's no way this can't be number one because nothing beats it in my head. The Nier series as a whole, absolutely phenomenal music. Now, one, I'm a super huge Nier fanboy. I have loved the Nier series. Drakengard, which is also plays into the Nier universe, which if you know anything about the lore of it, have fun because that's a complicated fucking lore for you. But the Drakengard series is still really good, but Nier hits me in my gut directly, and it hurts. But this soundtrack, this series, everything about it is just gorgeous. The music makes you understand and feel the emotions of the characters involved, and for anybody who understands the Nier series, Nier Automata has a lot of automata shit. I can't pronounce it right.
That's fun.
The Nier Automata series, that's a good game, but if you know its connections with the first series, there's a side mission in Nier Automata that you're doing stuff for a meal and you're finding all these flowers, and you basically get to go to this one place, and this song from a character from the original Nier game called Kaine, her theme starts playing, and I am not lying, I cried when that happened because it's just such a touching moment with such a beautiful sound to it. Not only that, but I also remember the time when I first met up with all the mechanical parts, and a bunch of them, just as part of the song, just start saying this must not continue, and they just keep repeatedly saying that over and over again. That was horrifying to me. One of the scarier moments in a game that I played. There's also the fact that in the original Nier series, there's Devila and Popola, and I think it's Devila is always playing in the square in the town that Nier lives in. Is it Nier? Yeah. And I forgot his fucking name already. But he's always playing. Like she's always playing it, and the closer you get to her, you can actually hear her singing. And as you get closer and closer, it gets louder and louder, and it's just like that's one of those features that not a lot of games add, but it's such a beautiful thing. Like you always hear the like guitar or lute or whatever the hell she's playing. You can always hear that playing through the town. But as you get closer to her, you faintly start to hear her singing, and as you get closer and closer, you hear her singing louder and louder and louder.
Oh,
And it's
oh.
no
Sorry,
Scott,
stuff like that.
you're getting closer to one of the characters from Drakengard.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Drakengard 3 is an interesting game. One of the characters in it is definitely a masochist. And he's just such glorious agony. So, yeah. But yeah, no. The Nier soundtrack, and like I said, I'm a Nier fanboy, so it doesn't really count as much, I guess, from like saying how gorgeous it is. But it just has such beautiful moments in it, and if you learn the whole lore and get to hear like the connections between Nier and Nier Automata, it's just it's so beautiful. So yeah, I've gushed about that long enough. Scott, you go ahead.
Oh boy. Number one, it's a drum roll. Oh, what do you think it's gonna be?
Kingdom Hearts.
No. It is
Uh,
not
oh.
actually. I was gonna
Valhalla.
put Kingdom Hearts on this list, but you're naming all the things that are my honorable mentions.
Awesome.
No, it's wait, what is it? Oh yeah, it's Super Mario Galaxy.
I knew it. Fuck, that's on my honorable mentions, and I'm pretty sure there's like a side note that says probably Scott's favorite.
Yeah, definitely. Mario Galaxy. The second one was good, but I'm specifically talking about the first one.
Gusty Garden
Is
Galaxy.
just it's just oh my god, every song in that thing. I love the game as well, Super Mario Galaxy, because
Because it's gorgeous.
it was like
Amazing.
the second game I ever played on the Wii. um and it's just beautiful, it's cool, it's innovative, but the music is just amazing, and like it's neat because it's all like orchestral, and you can find videos online of the recordings of the orchestra that did all the soundtrack and stuff, and so you can like see it. It's like and you just see all these people like sitting there with their instruments and stuff recording the Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack. It's just so cool. um Dusty Garden Galaxy is obviously the big one that everyone knows.
Because
And
if you can't hear that intro of the ba-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you can't just immediately go bum 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 bum. But like you're just, I feel like I wouldn't be friends with somebody if they're like, I play video games and you play the like that song and they're like, what the fuck is this? Like that, I would just be
yeah,
like, we can't talk anymore. So
there's one song in particular. I have very clear memories of this. Back when I was a kid, I love. There's also a lot of really small, like, because there were the big galaxies, and then there were the ones that just had like one level in it. Even those sometimes had really good music in them, and one of those was the Space Junk Galaxy or something like that. And I remember the music for Space Junk Galaxy. The music alone would make me cry every time I play. So I hated playing that Galaxy just because I got so emotional because that music was just so. Um, it was like it captured the sadness of space in the music, and it just destroyed me. But I don't know if that effect is still true to this day because it's been a while since I've heard it. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of great music in there, and it's like powerful, captures the essence of space while not straying so far from the Mario formula that you can't, see the Mario elements in it. It's just, you know, good job, guys. Good. Whoever composed this soundtrack, I don't know who it is. Uh, Mahito Yokota and Koji Kondo.
I
You guys
think
did a good job.
what we learned from all of our like our number ones is that each one of us has a huge emotional investment into the soundtrack,
Yes.
because like Taylor was just like he got into it. I got into it very obviously, and you did as well. So it's like I learned. I said while I was doing this, I put Near down, and I was like, "There's no way this isn't number one for me." So I think it sounds like it was kind of the same with you guys. Like as you maybe like listen back over it or whatever, you guys were like, "Oh yeah, no, there's no way that this isn't, you know, number one or whatever."
hmm I think also there was something I thought about while I was making this list. Is there's another interesting design space that it doesn't really fit the theme of this, but is interesting. Is a soundtrack in a game that lacks a lot of soundtrack. Um, and there are very few games that do this, but like there's some games where there's like no music for 90% of the game, and that makes the like three times there is music that much more powerful.
Yeah.
Um,
I also
and
feel
there's
like the
a lot of
opposite's
games that
not a
do it.
great idea either. So like putting a
Right, like just
soundtrack.
having too much.
Oh, actually, I wasn't thinking too much. Sorry, I wasn't thinking maybe not opposite, but like also just having an entire game that doesn't really have much music or like memorable music that can
Right,
ruin a game.
can.
So I'm sorry. Continue what you were saying though.
I was just saying, there's a couple games that fit that formula that I was initially gonna be like, oh yeah, it's a good soundtrack, and I'm like, well, the soundtrack itself is not what makes it good. It's like the fact that the game mostly is devoid of music, and then when it has music, the music really makes it. It's just like a different design space uh, that not a lot of games explore. And other than Fragile Dreams, I'm blanking on examples right now. But
That's fine. It's that curse of like actually recording shit.
yeah,
You always do that. Do we want to move on to the honorable mentions then, since we've gone through our top
yeah,
five? So I mean, obviously, the top five, we all threw in some actually pretty good things, and I think other than Taylor trying to slyly switch something out, I think we all chose pretty different things, which is good to hear. So, um, moving on to some honorable mentions. I guess we can just start throwing them out there, but I will start
yeah.
with
I don't. I guess we could just do each of ours all at once, just because I don't have a ton to say about each of mine.
I
It's the same
have the DuckTales soundtrack, and I both mean the remastered and the original because both are really good. The fucking Moon song, which I think everybody is like, okay, the Moon song, yeah, I get it. Like it's a good piece of music. I've listened to it 1,000 times, done in so many different ways. People have recreated this. People have made it in piano versions, rock versions, synth piano versions. Like all of it's been done, and I love every version of it. I specifically love guitar versions of it though. But there's two reasons. One, I think the guitar is a very powerful instrument, especially if you get an electric guitar. Like that is just you hit the power right there. Two is the fact that I've played guitar for part of my life, so it's kind of cheating a little bit. But the entire soundtrack's good, and it doesn't so much pertain to the game as much as the original series it played. But if you've ever listened to the DuckTale theme song and don't just immediately in your head go woo woo, you're wrong, because that song will get stuck in your head instantaneously. Because there have been multiple times I've been talking to people and somehow DuckTales come up, and I think one time was at work, and my boss just looks at me and just goes, "Oh yeah, like the DuckTales theme song." You're like, "DuckTales, woo," and you're like, "Damn it, it's in my head forever now." Like there is no getting rid of that song. So that was a really good one. I don't know. And like I said, the Moon song just like I it gives me chills every time I hear it, no matter what it's done in. So yeah. Um I also just put another lump one of I like Sonic music. I don't give a fuck that Sonic hasn't been a good game, because let's not lie, Sonic is a pretty the series has kind of ruined itself in a way. it recently got kind of like a revamp and like a like okay, the series isn't the worst thing ever with Sonic Mania, but outside of that, not a good series. But the music for it is great, especially the fucking rolling around at the speed of sound because I love that song and I will never stop loving that song. So fight me. Um, Undertale, that was something that I put on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did everybody at the same time just be like, yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
I put Undertale in my honorable mentions just
yeah?
because I didn't want my list to be too obvious.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's good. The reason it's in honorable mentions is because I think a lot of music he wrote it himself while he also programmed it and blah 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 blah. But I also think that Undertale got like drowned in praise for a while, so I feel like it's a little bit I wouldn't put it overrated yet because it's still
Over, it might be overexposed.
yeah, because it's not overrated because it is a good attempt, but it's definitely getting out. It got out there a lot when the series came out. Don't get me wrong, I think it's amazing. Like it's really good.
Mhm.
But I put it in there just because I thought it was a really good thing. But I felt like it needed to be talked about, but not necessarily put in a top 5 kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I actually genuinely love the Undertale soundtrack, but like I said, I didn't want to just slap it in there because I feel like that's an obvious one.
I mean,
Uh,
for you two, in the obvious sense of me, Bone Trestle is like one of my favorite pieces of music ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's mm,
and Megalovania is the shit, as is Battle Against a True Hero, and
I
also
love Battle Against True
and what is the other one? I think it's oh, is it? I think it's his song that literally makes me cry every time I hear it.
you know what
It's so cheap, but still.
you know what song makes me cry every time, like surprisingly enough, just like I think it's just called Undertale, and it's like the one where you hear the guitar, the dun 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 dun, dun bum bum
Mhm.
bum bum. I Every time I hear that, it just hits me. I don't know. It's
Actually, I think that's his theme actually.
oh then yeah
Dun,
that
dun, 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 dun.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it's the one that sounds like it's played on like a MIDI guitar, it just crushes me every time. Like I love it so much. I actually think
Mhm.
I like went through the effort of trying to figure out how to play that on guitar just because I liked it so much. Not that it's
So
that
yeah,
hard, but
uh, so Undertale secret number for all of us.
secret number probably somewhere on top 5, but we also didn't want to put it on there because hipster mentality, I guess.
Yeah.
So, hey. Although to be fair, that is kind of one of those ones where it's like, I think fans can ruin a lot of things. Rick and Morty is a good example. Um, fan bases can ruin things, and I think fan bases have kind of crushed things. Also, there's the Timmy song, the Tim song.
The Song of Tim
Yeah, the song of Tim. The boom doo
or whatever.
boom doo
It's-
boom
yeah.
doo boom doo. It's like this is great. I love it. I probably like it more than anybody else because I like irritating music for some reason. So,
Mhm.
um, moving on from secret number 1. Super Mario Galaxy's on there, and we've talked about that already. I love the Super Mario Galaxy theme song. And again, just like the if you don't hear the da 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 ba da da dun 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 and you don't get excited, you're wrong and can't be my friend. So that's fine. Halo's on here too because the Halo soundtrack is really fucking good. So that's just kind of a I guess a not so exciting one. Um, the Journey soundtrack I put on here
Oh yes.
because Journey is a great game. Everybody should play Journey. Take 2 hours out of your life to play through Journey. It's a short game. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. I love it. But the music also just matches it. So, and for Scott, I put in not for Scott, for me, but like also because Scott could agree with it. Danganronpa. The entire series is just great. V3 was specifically wonderful. Scott's still around
Scott
to
has
talk about it.
briefly wandered off.
No.
Nope.
Oh no.
He thinks his mic has died. Okay,
Oh
well
no.
hopefully he can resolve that quickly.
We'll move
And
to
he'll come back to discuss Danganronpa in a minute.
we'll move
Because
to
I
Taylor.
certainly can't.
We'll move to Taylor really fast and let him take care of it so that we can figure out this mic issue. So
Okay.
Taylor, go ahead.
Well, my honorable mentions is much shorter because I was mostly thinking it up as we were doing this.
Try to do
But
it as slowly as possible so that Scott can get his mic working again.
okay, well, kind of in the same vein as my original Castlevania one, the like entire Mega Man series is just fantastic. If you just want sick 8-bit music,
What is? Oh, is it the Airman song that I really like?
oh, I mean, if you're thinking of, I know there is a song about Airman.
Is that Airman's theme?
I don't remember.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Seems so. You
Yeah,
fixed
okay.
it.
Discord
So-
doesn't play nicely with me sometimes.
That's fine. I'll probably cut part of this out, so it's all good. We'll put
Oh,
the
that's fine.
Mega Man thing in there, but I'm gonna cut this out in the like main thing.
Okay.
So going back to it, Scott, I put the Danganronpa
Yes.
All of them.
Danganronpa.
is in my honorable
Yes,
mentions because
I mean, pretty much the the Danganronpa soundtrack doesn't change substantially throughout the three games. Well, the third one's pretty different, but the first two share a lot of the same songs. So yeah, yeah, they're pretty good at matching the atmosphere once again.
yeah, well, like I think it's the body reveal of the first one that I
The
love.
one, the one where it just goes like
Yeah, you have the like female choir that's all just kind of like slightly shrieking a little bit, and you're like, this is unnerving, but like it fits the mood because it's like you just discovered a body of one of your basically your friends at that point. Usually, sometimes, if it's my case, occasionally in the trials, I'm just like, yeah, you died, fucker. I hated you. So, tune in for a future episode where me, Scott, and our friend Raymond talk about just Danganronpa for the entire series because
Oh,
I love that series. But
But not me, because I cannot be asked.
yeah, it's fine. We don't need to ask you to play through the entirety of this series just to talk to us about it. So
You're damn straight.
so yeah, that is it. It fits the mood. The Killing Game is still one of my. Or Let's All Kill Each Other is one of my favorite songs
yeah.
ever because it's
So-
not.
It's so goofy and terrifying at the same time.
It's goofy, terrifying, and just generally unpleasant. Like all of that mixed in one, and you're just like, oh my god. Like I think the point of it was in the series to be like basically make this fucking music stop kind of thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And so like it fully displays that. So yeah, I think that was the extent of my my little bit there. Taylor, do you want to just go ahead and start with what you were saying before? We'll start at the top again.
Oh. I mean, Mega Man's pretty awesome. I kind of put it in the same slot as Castlevania as old NES games with music that is amazing throughout the whole series.
Scott, maybe you can
Uh,
answer it because I was saying earlier, I was like, is it Airman? Is that the song that goes dun 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 dun? Or do you know?
From Mega Man?
Yeah.
I've never played Mega Man.
Okay, never mind. Maybe it's Raymond who can answer that question for me.
It's Ray's the Mega Man expert.
But
Because I
yeah,
also remember that has like a weird, like it was in the one of the big the big melodies that Ray and I used to listen to because being younger and whatnot. But continue, Taylor. Sorry,
nerds.
you're not wrong.
What else? Oh yeah, Undertale is on there. It's kind of one of my like indie game.
It's one of
ones.
your secret favorites, but we're not going to talk about it because we don't
Also,
wanna be lumped
Darkest
in it.
Dungeon also has amazing creepy music.
I still need to like actually start playing that on my Switch again.
Yes, go and suffer.
Yay, suffering! Because I don't have enough of that in real life.
Trying to think if there's anything else.
Yeah, it's fine if you can't come up with anything else.
Nope.
My
can't.
honorable mention was long because I basically was just started listening to different like soundtracks, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty good one. This is a pretty good one too. Yeah, those are great. And then I just like compile them and do a list, and was like, here are my top 5. So, Scott, what are your honorable mentions?
Well, Kingdom Hearts. First of
Obviously.
all, I think Kingdom Hearts 2 is the one that stands out to me the most, just because they, the, I mean, you could look at this two ways. You could look at it as they didn't want to bother making anymore, or you could look at it as it was just so good it was easily reusable. But the all the non-main series Kingdom Hearts games, except for Birth by Sleep, use a lot of the same songs from Kingdom Hearts 2. So they just kind of reused them because they just worked so well.
Also, just
But
speaking of Kingdom Hearts, all I can think of is when you walk away,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't hear
Yeah.
me say.
So, okay, Utada Hikaru, which is the one that sings that. First of all, she sings both the Japanese and the English versions of that song.
That's impressive. Holy shit.
It is. Yeah. And on top of that, she's also like, that's not the only thing she's done. She makes like normal music. I highly recommend listening to the rest of her music because she does a lot of Japanese, but because she is Japanese, but she also has some English albums. The English albums are super sexual, and it's really funny because you can like only hear the Kingdom Hearts voice, but there's like one song where she's just like, what is it? She's like, I want to show you what I've got. I'm gonna turn this room into a melting pot or
Oh
something
no.
like that. And I'm like, and then there's one, I think the chorus is like, she's easy breezy, but I'm Japanesey or something like that. It's just,
Well,
it's
damn.
so
You're making this up.
I'm not making this up. I swear to God. I'll send it to you. But yeah. But so she also makes this one song that Ray hates now because I went on one of those like DuckTales-esque sprees called Hotel Lobby, which is about I think it's about prostitution because it's like
Oh no.
it's like she wakes up with the sunset. She wonders when will this end. She's only in it for the money, and then it's like waiting in the hotel lobby. And
You
stuff.
said
It's like,
for the money, and I immediately thought of a Foster the People song, but continue. Sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, Kingdom Hearts is great. There's like one song in Birth by Sleep I remember really liking.
Is it when you walk away, you don't hear me say?
No, it's not. That's in every game except Kingdom Hearts 3 probably. because-
Okay, forgot. We have to talk about Traverse Town because oh my god,
Oh god,
it's so
Travis Town.
good.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, Traverse Town is amazing, and they make it even better in Dream Drop Distance.
Well, the thing is, it's such a simple loop too. It's basically just the do 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 boo do do, and then it's like basically you get a few more notes after that, but it's the same thing over and over again. And like by the end of it, I'm like, I've put that on loop before, and just sat there and be like, no, this is still really good. Like I still really like this.
As
And
we
This is coming from
As
somebody
we-
who's not a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, also.
Oh yes, always a good qualifier. As you all know, Yoko Shimomura, who's the one that composed the series, is a goddess. Actually composed another great series' music.
We'll move forward with that. You'll understand in a few minutes. So,
But yeah, so a couple others. Bravely Default was on there. There's like the only reason I didn't put that in the top 5 is that Bravely Default it's mostly there because of like a couple of songs per game. If you are a fan of electric guitars, you should totally check out the boss theme from Bravely Default 2.
BRB, gonna go find that real fast because
Uh,
I very much like electric guitars. So
it's called Battle of Ordeal, I think, or something like that. But there's some amazing electric guitar parts in it. Bravely Default, Catherine, I had on there.
God, I have some bad memories of Catherine.
Oh yeah, Catherine. There's a couple really cool songs in there. There's one especially. I think it's like the final boss music that has a dope piano part. Transistor, which is the other game made by the people that made Bastion.
You say other, there's two.
I know.
Pyre. I
Well,
really want to play Pyre, but
we
Transistor
shall
is
not
awesome.
speak of Pyre.
I've never played it. I want to play it. Is it
I
good?
played it. Well,
Is it bad?
actually, I shouldn't judge it. I played it for an hour or two, and it just wasn't like Transistor and Bastion. I couldn't stop playing it, but Pyre, I was like, you know what? I think this would be fun multiplayer, but the story mode is just not doing it for me.
Pyre is it's like a turn-based RPG, isn't it?
No, not at all.
It's a sports game.
It's basketball. It's literally a basketball.
That sounds
three-person
less fun.
basketball essentially.
That sounds
It-
less
I-
fun.
I haven't played it, but I like the concept behind it.
Yeah.
Like you
Now,
said, it seems like something that would be more interesting player as like a multiplayer competitive thing.
Yes.
But with the story mode, it's like, oh,
And it is multiplayer, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah, you can do it multiplayer, but the story mode's just not that good. I'm just not interested in it. But like, it's like it's an RPG, but the battles are 3v3 basketball. It's really interesting. But yeah, so we'll try playing it multiplayer sometime. But Transistor is awesome. It has much like if I were to pick like one song to represent Bastion, it would probably be "Build That Wall" for me. Whereas if I was going to pick one to represent Transistor, or not represent, but like just be the thing that stands out, there's a song called "The Spine" in it, and there's just a part of it that's so fun to sing because it's just like you just scream like "I see the spine," or something like that. It's so fun. Gravity Rush.
Hell yeah.
I put in here. That's an underrated game, I would say.
Yeah, I still need to finish it.
Gravity
Man.
Rush. The soundtrack is like I've gotten so much mileage out of that soundtrack using it for like random YouTube videos. There's a ton of songs in there that are just really good, like generic music. Maybe isn't a good thing, but pretty cool. And then the last one I had on there was Valhalla, like you mentioned earlier. The neat thing about Valhalla, or VA11 Hall A, is basically the way every time you start your shift at the bar, the game is a bartending simulator, basically. And every time you start your shift, you have to like load up the jukebox, and you can essentially just pick what songs in the soundtrack you want it to play, and then you enter it in, and then it just plays. It's you essentially make a playlist every time your day starts, and it goes like that. There's some like events outside of that have their own music, but yeah, it's basically how it goes, and that's about it for my honorable mentions.
Also, Pyre does not have multiplayer, by the way. I looked it up.
What? I swear I saw a multiplayer option in the menu.
At least it does not have competitive multiplayer. It does have local.
Oh,
It doesn't have local
that's what I
multiplayer
meant. Yeah.
where you can like yeah.
Stop making local. Just fucking. I know it's hard, but like, just make things multiplayer. Like, I want to play with my friends online. I don't want to just play with like. I don't have people that I can just be like, hey, come sit on my couch for a few hours and play this. Okay, I have one person, but she's probably not gonna play shit with me. So.
I just googled Pyre multiplayer. The first thing that came up is an article that says Pyre doesn't have online multiplayer, but there's a good reason why.
Okay, don't read it because it'll upset me probably. Because
Yeah.
I hate.
Well, I'm gonna read it, but
Being somebody who's gone into journalism, like every time I find basically fluff articles, it just upsets me because like you're not. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into this. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So for anybody who's watching, which looks like we have 2 viewers right now, we are gonna play a little game here in a few minutes. We're gonna take a quick, like probably 5-ish minute break, just to A, get everything prepared, and B, go to the bathroom, get all that stuff out of the way. So
I got pee.
yeah, I almost said get that shit out of the way, but I was like, eh. Anyways, but for anybody who's still here, we are going to play a game. Scott mentioned before, there is the composer for the Kingdom Hearts series is also the composer for the Mario and Luigi series. So we're going to play a little game with everybody. It'll be weird because of the delay on Twitch, but we're going to basically play some music, and you get to decide whether you think it is a Mario and Luigi excuse me, a Mario and Luigi song or a Kingdom Hearts song. So we will be back. Give us about, like I said, maybe 5 minutes, maybe between 5 and 10 minutes. So we'll be back in a bit.
Never stop the fucking beat.
Boom. And we're back. So now we're moving on to the portion of the podcast. I guess it's not really whatever. So since Paragon just asked in the chat, we are going to be playing a game with anybody who's in chat who honestly just wants to play along. So since we were doing this whole thing on the oh, excuse me. So we're doing this whole thing on soundtracks. The Scott, I'm gonna let you explain this. You
Okay.
set up the game.
you seem to be struggling. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, there's a Mario RPG series that's just called the Mario and Luigi series. This would include the games such as Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story, Dream Team, Paper Jam, and I think that's it.
So that being
I might have
said,
missed one. So with that being said, the composer for the music of that series and the Kingdom Hearts series is the same person, and her name is Yoko Shimomura, and she is amazing at composing music. So over time, especially as the games got newer, it becomes more and more obvious in the Mario games that she is the composer. Up until Paper Jam, where there's one song which is literally, I'm pretty sure she just took a song from Kingdom Hearts and redid a couple of the notes. So this is a game initially it wasn't really a game. I just had a playlist on my phone where I just put a bunch of songs in that could have been misconstrued as being in either game. So I was like, let's make a game out of this. And so basically, I took a bunch of songs that the first couple are warm-ups, but the rest of the songs we are going to attempt to guess, and by we I mean people who aren't me, are going to attempt
basically,
to guess which game it's from.
The people that aren't Scott is basically going to be me and Taylor will guess, and we'll also leave it open to chat to guess as well. So
Yes.
specifically,
They're not in any specific order, you can't. Here's a couple things you can't rely on to make the decision. The quality of the song, because I took stuff from various consoles, so just because it's like lower quality doesn't automatically mean it's Mario or vice versa. And also, it's not necessarily going to like alternate in a pattern. So there could be 5 Kingdom Hearts in a row, or it could just alternate one after the other. You never know.
I will also say I am going to leave a little bit of dead air just because I'm not 100% sure how long it takes to for me to reach a lot of you as well. So I will probably leave about like maybe 5 seconds to 10 seconds of just quiet after a song so that people in the chat can also guess along with us, kind of thing. So I'll do that as well. This game isn't for anything, so just, feel free to throw whatever responses you want in a chat. I'll give you a little, I guess, a shout out if you get it right. So, yeah, so basically Paragon just said we're guessing games for video games. So basically, it's either going to be Kingdom Hearts or Mario and Luigi. And
Yes.
so you basically decide whether you think this specific song is from Kingdom Hearts or Mario and Luigi. And you can put it in chat. I'll basically, at the end of it, I will say anybody who is right, I'll give you a little bit of like, oh yeah, you got it right, cool, kind of thing. And Taylor and I will be the ones guessing. Scott knows the answer, and he'll tell us in the end.
Yes.
So
there's like one that I think I may have forgotten which one it's from, but
great.
So we'll see. I'm pretty sure I remember all of them.
There are 10 songs in total?
There are 25.
Fuck me. All right.
The thumbnail says 10. I mean, the time is not. Yeah, it's
not
a
awful.
13-minute long video, but.
All right, so everybody in chat, are we ready? I'll give it enough time to anybody who wants to respond to that can. So, everybody?
The first two are warm-ups, to just kind of give you an idea of what the style of each game is going to be like. It's totally not to lull you into a false sense of thinking or anything like that.
100% is, because if Scott's saying that, it is. So at this point, everybody in chat ready to try this who wants to try this?
Whoop, 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 whoop.
I'll wait for at least one response and then I'll go. You don't count as a response, bruh.
What?
Is that not you? That's you.
know what you're talking about.
I mainly just want to know how long it takes to get to everybody. So I was hoping Paragon would be able to answer faster, but oh, there you go. Okay, so Paragon has answered. That's what? How long would you say? You think? Whatever. All right, we're gonna start. So here goes our first song. All right, so that was song number 1. I know the answer, so
Sink in.
I'm not gonna say this one. So,
Oh, should I? Are we waiting, or should I?
oh, go ahead and throw in your
Oh.
guess.
Yeah, that's Mario and Luigi, I guess.
And I guess Paragon seems to be the only one who's playing, so that's fine.
All right.
So Paragon, you are correct. That is Mario and Luigi. Yeah. So yeah, I've played the series enough to know that's battle music, right, Scott?
Yeah, it's the boss battle from Superstar Saga, but it's the like remastered Superstar Saga.
Yeah. All right. So continuing on.
Let's do it.
All right. So it's vote casting time. I don't know. I don't know what that's from, but I'm gonna guess Kingdom Hearts.
Taylor. All right, Paragon also says Kingdom Hearts. Taylor, what is yours?
Well, you said that this is supposed to be like the tutorial, so I guess Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. Yeah, it is Kingdom Hearts.
All right.
That's actually from the card game one.
Oh,
the
no.
remastered card game one.
Ah,
So
It's a-
Scott, I need
it's a
you to keep
heartless boss battle.
Scott, I need you to keep track. So Paragon's at 2. I'm at
Okay.
2. Taylor's at 2. So
Google
Right.
it.
Paragon, you ready for the next one? Right, well, I guess we're okay. Let's go on. Well, god damn it.
And so it begins.
okay. I'm
I
gonna
think
guess.
this is the one that I may have forgotten.
I'm gonna guess Kingdom Hearts because this vaguely reminds me of something from the what is it? The like Alice in Wonderland stuff.
I'm gonna go with Mario and Luigi on this one. But,
I believe it's Kingdom Hearts.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that puts Paragon and Taylor at 3, and I'm still at 2.
Yeah. I just pulled up an online counter thing, so
So Paragon, there's still time. Don't get too cocky yet. All right.
yeah.
We're
All
going
right,
on
here we
to
go.
song number 4. All right, so we have 1 vote for Mario and Luigi. make that 2 votes for Mario and Luigi, because if this isn't from Mario and Luigi, I'm gonna throw a fit. That's fine.
Make that 3.
All right, you're all correct.
Yay.
I think that's from Dream Team, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that definitely has a Mario and Luigi vibe to it. So, all right, well, let's just get things get more difficult from here on out. All right.
They do.
So right now it's what, 4 for Taylor, 4 for Paragon, and 3 for me.
Yep.
All right.
Gotta get on our level, Logan.
All right, what's everybody's guess?
I'm gonna say Kingdom Hearts.
I'm gonna go with Mario and Luigi on that one.
All right. It is Kingdom Hearts.
Is that like a Tarzan area?
No, it's a mini game theme.
Oh.
So it's
Well,
like
that's
collect all the garbage in 5 minutes or something like that.
So Paragon.
Oh yes. Theme
God,
of collecting garbage.
Yeah, he's killing it.
I'm falling behind. Damn it. All right, we're gonna go to the next one then.
Yep.
Oh no.
I really should have remembered. I should have written this down because
Yeah, you should have.
I know what it is, but as soon as it came on, I was like, wait, but is it?
Is this one also Kingdom Hearts?
I want to say like Mario and Luigi, but I'm gonna be wrong, and I know it.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying Mario and Luigi.
Okay, it's Kingdom Hearts again.
Fuck.
You're bad at this game, Logan.
The problem is, it's like I
didn't
listened
even
to it.
play Mario and Luigi.
But see, that's the thing. I played Mario and Luigi, and like I hear that little that roll on the xylophone, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's 100% a Mario and Luigi song, and then it's not, and I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
All right. Move on then. Well, fuck me, I guess.
I'm gonna say Mario and Luigi.
All right.
That is also my guess, but we gotta wait for Paragon's guess, so
I think he guessed pleb.
that's not an option. It's also not an
Almost.
option.
I think that might be his "I'm stumped" emoji. Oh yeah.
You gotta choose, bruh.
A lot of these that I chose are unmemorable ones, and that's also what makes it hard.
Yeah.
You just put the like Travers.
Put Traverse down, and we're all like, oh. Was that
All
a
right,
collective Mario and Luigi?
voted. All right, it was Mario and Luigi.
Damn.
Hooray!
But I got that right, though.
Yeah,
you
you're
did.
still losing though.
Shit.
Still losing. Yeah, that's another mini game theme from Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah, it
Alright,
sounded
let's-
like a racing theme.
Kind of
Oh.
cool.
The fuck?
I love this song.
I don't like this game anymore.
Kingdom Hearts. Fuck it. I don't care anymore.
All right.
I'm gonna say Mario
Okay.
and Luigi.
Paragon also said Mario and Luigi. It was Kingdom Hearts.
Hell yeah!
No.
Just peeked the
That's,
shit out of my audio.
Yeah, that's from Kingdom Hearts 2. That's the first gummy ship area.
Am I catching up? Am I finally catching up? How many points do I have to catch up?
5, 7, and 7. So
Fuck. All right. Okay, we're going on. Kingdom Hearts. Fuck it.
I'm also gonna say Kingdom Hearts. This feels familiar.
all right. Yes, everyone's correct. That was Kingdom Hearts.
Is it from the under the sea section?
It is from the Under the Sea section.
The Little Mermaid, rather.
Yep.
All right.
That is that timpani drum. Oh Christ!
This is where it starts getting fun.
If that isn't from Kingdom Hearts, I'm going to be upset. I say Kingdom Hearts.
All right.
I'm gonna say Mario and Luigi just to
All right.
be the contrarian. I'm probably wrong.
Paragon said Kingdom Hearts. You are wrong. It is Kingdom Hearts.
Hell yeah. What is
I
that?
love being wrong.
Don't get too
Paragon's-
comfortable in your booties.
What, Paragon's at like 9, and then...
Yep, he's 9, Taylor's 8, you're 7.
Hell yeah. All right, let's continue on.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Kingdom Hearts.
I will go
All
with
right.
that.
And he also said, "You're all wrong, fuckers."
Oh
Shit!
yeah, we all lose.
That was the final boss music from Dream Team.
Shit. I played that fucking game. Damn it. Anyways, we're gonna continue on. So what? Paragon's still winning?
Yeah, score didn't change.
Cool.
Everyone was wrong.
I'm gonna miss Kingdom Hearts again.
I'll go with
Kingdom
Kingdom Hearts.
Hearts.
Fuck it.
Kingdom Hearts. Page for sure. It's not.
Damn
That's
it!
That's the final boss from Paper Jam.
God damn it!
Uh,
All right, we're continuing on. Also, I basically like half-assed determined that if Paragon wins this, I'll find a way to like give him some sort of prize. So if y'all fuckers win this,
What do you mean, y'all fuckers? I'm the only fucker here.
yeah. Kingdom Hearts.
okay.
I will also say Kingdom Hearts.
All
We keep
right.
guessing. We'll get there eventually.
He said Kingdom Hearts. Yes, that one was Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, okay, you say
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. All right, cool. Paragon still in the
Score didn't
lead.
change.
Yep. Everyone got that right, so your relative score is unchanged.
So Paragon, just let me know when you actually have to leave for like when you're done with your break, because I'll just count the points from that point.
Mhm.
All right, let's
Yeah.
continue on. I'm going with Mario Luigi.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Kingdom Hearts.
All right. And he also said Kingdom Hearts. That was Mario and Luigi.
Booyah! So what
Yeah, that was from
that
Partners in Time.
that puts Paragon one ahead of both of us now.
Yep. 9, 9, and 10.
Alrighty then. All right, Paragon, you might lose your prize here.
Ooh.
Oh, baby.
I'm gonna go with Mario Luigi.
Okay.
As am I.
And he says, yeah, these final boss ones are real tricky.
What's the final?
Yeah. Basically, most of the songs are either like goofy sounding songs or final bosses because that's where the style overlaps the most.
So, which one is this?
Consensus of Mario Luigi.
It was Mario and Luigi.
All right.
That was Partners in Time.
All right. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Continue. Fuck. Mario and Luigi.
Kingdom
Okay.
Hearts.
All right, it was Kingdom Hearts.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Ah!
I love that song. It was Kingdom Hearts 2.
All right. Well, let's continue.
Where is it from? First of all, I'm trying to. It sounds very familiar. I
It's
actually knew that one.
it's Twilight Town after you start as Sora.
Oh yeah,
The Twilight Town battle music.
right.
All right, looks like Paragon's about to get his goddamn prize. Ah. Kingdom Hearts.
I'm gonna say Mario.
Maybe.
John's answer.
He said, "Oh."
Is that your answer? Kingdom Hearts? Kingdom Hearts. All
No,
right.
It is Kingdom Hearts.
Was I wrong then?
And
You were right, I think.
I don't even remember. Fuck it. I don't care.
I was the one. I was the one who said
I mean,
Mario.
Yeah.
So me and Taylor are
that was
tied
from-
again? Or am I ahead of him?
Yes, it's 11, 11, and 12.
So Paragon has 12?
Yep.
Paragon, how long do you have to leave?
He said like 5 minutes a few minutes ago. But yeah, that was from Birth by Sleep. How long to leave?
All right, well then I'm counting you as the winner for now, but we're going to continue the game anyways. So, yeah, I'll talk to you later about the whole like actually winning a prize thing. So,
Woohoo!
yeah. I'm sorry, bud. We're going to try and do this more often. Not more often, but like we'll try to do this more to find something to do during each podcast that'll keep a little bit more, I guess, whatever. But yeah, I'll talk to you later about that. But we're gonna continue this anyways. But have fun with the rest of your work day.
Now it's between you and Taylor for pride.
Who has the bigger dick? Boop.
It's neither of us.
You're right. All right, so that one was Mario and Luigi.
Hmm. I'm gonna say Mario as well.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
I like Taylor how he's like trying to go back in his Kingdom Hearts memory database every time.
It's very spotty and vague.
Yeah, that's what makes it even better.
Give me a second. Send Paragon a message.
Okay.
Okay. On to the next song. If that isn't Mario and Luigi, I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Mario and Luigi as well. All the ones that have like a very...
Is it Kingdom Hearts?
What are you giggling about?
Is it Kingdom Hearts?
I love this. The name of this song. The name of the song is Shipmeister's Shanty, and it's the song that plays when you're constructing the gummy ship.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Damn it!
Kingdom Hearts.
Ah! I'm so mad! Ah, that's 100%. That is a Mario and Luigi
Yeah.
song.
Yeah,
Ah.
so it is.
I peaked my audio so many times in this one. All right, we're going on.
So much fun.
Kingdom Hearts.
So swift.
I'm gonna say Mario.
All right, that was Kingdom Hearts.
Hell yeah!
Curses.
Because if I don't make a decision quickly, I'm gonna fuck up. So I make good decisions quickly because yeah.
And I don't just want to say the same thing as Logan, because otherwise we're gonna fight for.
Let's go.
Well, I mean, no. Almost spooky.
It was.
Oh shit! That started immediately. Holy shit! Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Kingdom Hearts as well.
They're both false.
Hooray!
Fuck! All right, we're gonna take a quick break, like a very, very like minute break, maybe.
Continue back on.
Oh shit! That was the end of the song 21. So we're on 22, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
You're lying to me. It's not from either game.
No, I'm not lying to you.
Mario and Luigi.
Uh, hmm,
Does agreeing with me upset you, Taylor?
yeah, I guess I'm gonna agree with Logan.
Yeah, you're both right.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
from Bowser's Inside Story.
Alrighty. Ah! Well, the cat has decided to be in my lap now, so that's happened.
She can play too.
Oh, yay. She's just
Oh,
upset
boy.
because her dog friend is gone right now.
Aw.
Alright, let's continue.
There's so much cat purring.
I'm
mixed
so
in
sorry.
with this.
She's off my lap now, so.
I'm
Oh
gonna
shit, let
say
me pause that.
Kingdom Hearts.
Ah! Stop!
Oh god.
I already forgot the music. Fuck, there was a cat. Sure, Kingdom Hearts, let's just agree.
Alright.
I also said Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, you're both wrong.
Yeah.
Worst part was, I think I originally, before I got distracted, was gonna say, no, stop. Was gonna say that too. So, don't mind me, I'm just having a struggle with my cat. Just gonna listen to the rest of that one real fast. Stop. You know what's fun? Having a cat that drools more than my fucking boxer.
What the hell?
Yes, it does. It's ridiculous.
Never seen a cat drool.
I'm
I
gonna
go
say
with-
Mario.
Yep. That one.
Both Mario?
Yeah.
It is.
Hell
Um,
yeah!
This Lindsay Sterling shit up in here.
Yeah, funny thing about that one. So that's from Dream Team, and there's always a tutorial battle in the Mario and Luigi series where like it's like a 3-turn battle where they just teach you how to jump basically, and usually it's Bowser, but in this game it's literally the final boss is the first enemy you ever fight, and it plays the final boss music. And I just remember playing it the first time, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit! It's the final boss already!" And, and like, I didn't know it was the final boss at the time, but I heard that music and saw it, and I was like, "This is the final boss," and I'm fighting it immediately. So,
Wait, one more, right?
one more.
All right, let's go.
One more and the nightmare can finally end.
What the fuck?
Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Mario and Luigi.
Oh boy, here we
Now-
go.
Now I'm lying to you. It's a trick question.
Oh,
Fuck you!
It was neither. That was from Pokemon.
Fuck you! This game is rigged.
You won, you fuck. I mean, technically Paragon won, but you won this round.
Wait, did I
No,
win?
That was,
Yes.
yeah, you won.
Oh shit! I wasn't paying
Yeah.
attention to points, obviously.
That's why I said oh when we said different. Because it was either we tied or I lose super hard.
Yeah, that's from the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Delta episode
You're the worst.
that no one played, but I just remember I heard that song and I was like, this sounds like a Kingdom Hearts song. I was like, I'm gonna put this in there at the very end because you've been Pavlov trained by this point. There's no way
You're the fucking worst. So does anybody else have anything else they want to add to this podcast? Any sort of crazy bullshit, or does anybody want to try and like I was gonna say pimp themselves out, but I'm like, you guys don't do your own things, so
Nope. Check out my channel for some quality shit posts and memes.
it's actually true. Like if you want quality shit post, go see it. Citrus Spoon on YouTube. Just look it up. Go for it.
They're highly self-indulgent and very specific.
I hope you know I'm actually putting that in the thing.
Yeah, sure.
Have fun. I'm gonna put that. Hey, you want to pimp yourself out at all?
I don't do anything on the internet.
That's fair.
I've got
All right.
goddamn grad school to do.
What a loser.
Yeah.
Anyway, that concludes our podcast for tonight. Thank you guys for listening, and we are now, like I said, on SoundCloud and iTunes podcast, or whatever that is called. We're there now, so you guys can subscribe on iTunes, or is it subscribe on? I think it's subscribe on SoundCloud as well, and listen to stuff. We should put out new content every other Monday, except for in the case of this week where we're putting it out 2 Mondays in a row. So tune in next time. Thanks, guys.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Don't hit the door on the way out either, you.